This is English shorthand dictation number 251 and the dictation speed is 140 words per minute. Ready? Start. Honorable Vice Chairman Sir, I rise to oppose the bill which has been moved in this House. Madam, this raises a very fundamental issue of collective bargaining. As a matter of fact, this bill tries to negate what has been achieved in this country in the labor field. It has been the claim of the party in power that their industrial relations policy is based on the principle of collective bargaining. What we find in practice is the outright rejection of this particular policy. This bill strikes at the root of the collective bargaining right of the working classes. I believe that this right has been given through the Constitution, but the way in which this right is sought to be circumvented and rejected, it also means that the right to organize is being negated, which is also guaranteed in the Constitution. What is the use of an organization if that organization is not allowed to function independently to safeguard the rights of the workers, to protect the rights of workers, as also to advance the rights and to see that the standard of living is improved from time to time? If the purpose for which a trade union is formed is sought to be finished, what is the use of saying that the government is going to allow collective bargaining? The Honorable Minister is in charge of the Finance Ministry, under which a large number of public sector undertakings function. May I ask him whether this right is denied in any of the public sector undertakings? Honorable Speaker, Sir, I am unable to understand why this General Insurance Amendment Bill has been brought for this particular purpose. Whether it is general insurance or life insurance, the government had already passed a legislation. Now, again they are trying to revalidate it to circumvent the bargaining rights of the working classes. The Supreme Court has already decreed not to have such a piece of legislation. In spite of that, the government is coming forward with such a piece of legislation which is beyond explanation. It is an anti-labor legislation. Sir, this is a sort of discriminatory policy. You deal with one public sector undertaking by one measuring rod, and by another measuring rod, you are trying to deny something to the other public sector undertaking. Unless a collective bargaining right is given, no trade union movement can prosper. Unless there is a healthy trade union movement in this country, how can the society progress, and how can the exploited sections of the people be properly protected? Another thing which is happening and which I would like to point out is that lack of planning is resulting in such things. Very often the railways take up a project, start the work, continue it for 2 or 3 years, and then for some reason or the other stop working on it and take up a new project of a similar nature. This is something which is very much distressing. Sir, I seek only 2 or 3 minutes. I would like to take this opportunity to inquire about 2 or 3 things from the Honorable Minister. First of all, what is the status of the casual workers working in the Indian Railways? According to the latest information, there are about 2.5 lakhs of casual workers working in the railways for the last 10 or 15 years. We have been pointing this out to the government repeatedly. The government should come out with a complete solution of the problem. What is all the more distressing to note is that the predecessors of the present railway minister had a fleet of casual workers to the tune of 2,000 in West Bengal alone. Now, without solving the problem of the existing casual workers, if you go on increasing the fleet of casual workers, that will aggravate the problem. Then another clarification that I would like to seek from the Honorable Railway Minister is about the loco running staff. In spite of repeated assurances from the government, the 10-hour working day had not yet been ensured so far as the loco running staff are concerned. I would also like to draw the attention of the Honorable Minister to the fact that a good number of loco running staff are still being victimized. I would urge upon the government to give a serious thought to these things and evolve a just and realistic solution to the problem so that the fate of the loco running staff is determined in the right path. Madam, I would take just 1 minute more. The number of accidents is still alarming. In reply to a question, the Honorable Minister of State stated that there had been 38 collisions, 62 derailments and 61 level crossing accidents in the Indian Railway last year. Sir, the huge mandate that we got from the people is one of the biggest historic transitions in this country. It was the saddest moment that our country was facing. The people have taken a decision that they must have a united and strong India. They must make India a prosperous country. They must ensure that the people living below the poverty line get more and more benefits and that their living standards go up. The poverty itself has not been defined yet in many countries. Once I had the privilege of attending one seminar where the economists of the third world countries discussed and defined what is poverty. The more the poverty was defined, they found that it was very difficult to define poverty because there are people in these countries who think that such kind of living standards are considered to be more affluent in those countries. But in our country, as minimum living standards, we think that we should have food, we should have a home, and our children should get education. In that way, we are trying to define it. Let us find out and evolve a kind of scientific formula and method by which we can proceed to eradicate poverty. Honorable Chairman, sir, I am quite sure that whatever amount of industrialization we are having, we cannot eradicate poverty within years. Supposing we make it years, let us plan it in such a manner that gradually we achieve that target. We are investing so much of money in all these programs. We have to see that the benefits of all these programs percolate to the masses and that these are implemented properly. The other day, I was reading an article on poverty, planning, and bureaucracy. It was a very interesting article. I found that some people have made some research and they have gone into this field. I can tell you what happens there. I have gone and met many of the beneficiaries personally. The subsidy that we are giving is taken away, is shared by the officers involved in this process. I am not voicing any kind of view which would not be tolerated when I say that the subsidy part in these various programs is being shared by officers involved in the implementation of the programs. What happens is that the subsidy part is not available to the beneficiaries. The subsidy itself is taken away by the officers involved in the process and only the loan part is received by the beneficiaries and they pay interest on that. The development program in the rural areas aims at fighting poverty and that is the aim of MREP. I would like to say that I do not share this view. What is MREP program? I have seen what they do in the village. They bring 1,000 people to the village and tell them to construct a road and they give them food for 3 months. After 3 months, whether the condition of the road is good or bad is not important. Mostly it is in bad condition. When the rain comes, it is washed away and it is absolutely devastated and the people remain unemployed. We want regular schemes and programs by which people can get their bread. That is the most important program and the Planning Commission out of its wisdom thought that we have bumper production, we will have bumper crops and a good buffer stock and we will distribute grains to poor people. We do like to treat our people as beggars. We do not like to treat them as contract workers.